What's up everyone, Pennell here from OddsShopper, bringing you my second PrizePicks NASCAR video, going over my 3 favorite props for this weekend's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the Quaker State 400 presented by Walmart. Got off to a little bit of a hot start for the first video. We had 2 out of 3 right, Chase Elliott over, Martin Truex over. Unfortunately, we just missed Ross Chastain by a couple points, but hopefully we can go 3 for 3 this weekend. But with NASCAR being a very high variance sport, especially at a track like Atlanta where we're going to see pack racing, they do run the Super Speedway package here now compared to what they did in the past because they completely reconfigured the track, higher banking, repaved the surface, and like I said earlier, they changed the aero package to be similar to Daytona and Talladega, which we typically see an increased probability in incidents at those types of tracks. And we saw that earlier in the season where we had multiple lead changes and around 10 to 12 cars ended up breaking out for the first race at Atlanta. So personally for me, when doing NASCAR, prize picks, props, and selections, I usually tend to go to the flex side of things rather than the power plays because they can be very hit or miss, especially at a track like this. And if you are a brand new user over on PrizePicks, a first-time depositor, you can get a first instant deposit match bonus up to $100, no strings attached. You don't have to compete against optimizers, mass entries, or sharks over on the website. It is simply you versus the projections they offer each and every single day or weekend, depending on the sport. And if you are a new depositor over there, you can get a free month of Stokastic plus Platinum. Once you deposit in 24 to 48 hours, you receive your email with confirmation, but you can take advantage of all the access on the website, advantage of all the tools for all sports to compete against on DraftKings, FanDuel, and especially over on PrizePicks. So I'd highly recommend checking it out if you haven't yet done so. Take advantage of one of the best deals out there in DFS and betting. So getting into my first play here, it's going to be the under on Chase Elliott fantasy points. Yes, he has been one of the best drivers in NASCAR this year. He's the points leader for a reason. He has been on fire recently and he's been very good at super speedways, but his prop currently at 30.5 is basically betting on him getting a top 3 finish, which is not something I'm really willing to do at a super speedway. Yes, if he leads some laps, that can make it more of a top 4, top 5 finish, which is certainly possible, but even then, it's not really something I'm willing to bank on at a super speedway. And while he has been good at them so far this year, he has finishes of 7th, 6th, and 10th, and that's not going to get the job done unless he leads a large chunk of laps. But at these types of tracks, we're going to see multiple lap leaders, and it's really hard to stay out front for the majority of the day. And chances are he could end up getting caught up in a wreck because these guys are going to be in tight packs, all bunched together, and a lot could go wrong for Chase Elliott. It's really hard to just continue to get good finishes. He might end up being due to get thrown into the wall here. So I'm going to take the under on Chase Elliott. If he happens to get a top 3, it is what it is, but I think the odds are in our favor. And PrizePicks does use DraftKings scoring for their format, and currently over on the Stokastic website, we have Elliott projected for under 30 fantasy points, so we are getting some pretty good positive leverage here. And getting into the next pick, it's going to be the Kyle Larson under fantasy points scored at currently 29.5, but I really like betting this under even if it does end up going down because Kyle Larson is typically a driver that you don't want to mess with at the super speedways. He's excellent at most tracks, but super speedways have definitely not been his bread and butter over the course of his career. Did finish 4th at Dega recently, but before that, 30th at Atlanta, 32nd at Daytona, 37th at Dega, 21st at Daytona, and then 40th once again at Talladega. So it has not been a pretty type of track for Kyle Larson recently. At his current prop at 29.5 points, you are basically banking on a top 8, top 9 finish from him. Obviously some fast laps scattered throughout, and if he happens to get up front, could make up for that a little bit. But Kyle Larson is a driver that would probably be happy with a top 15 finish at a super speedway. So I currently like betting the under there. I think he's one of the worst DFS plays on the slate this weekend. And I think taking the under on PrizePicks, no matter what the prop ends up getting to, is probably a safe way to go because he has had some terrible luck at these. And then getting into our final pick here of the 3 props that we talked about, it's going to be once again an under, and it's going to be for Daniel Suarez, currently sitting at 30.5 points. But even if it does drop down a couple points, I still don't mind betting the under because I feel like it's a bit juiced up with how well he's ran recently, but those have been at tracks that have suited him well. Super speedways, while he did finish good at Atlanta earlier in the season, really, like Kyle Larson, have not been the greatest track type form, basically needing him to get a top 11 finish currently at his prop. And like I said, while he finished good at Atlanta earlier in the year, again, these are just not that great of types of tracks for him. 31st at Dega recently, 18th at Daytona, 23rd at Dega, 20th at Daytona, and 23rd at Daigle once again last season. Obviously, his car has been a lot better this year, but even then, we're talking about an average running position around 17th place in the next-gen car so far. And looking at the past 10 races for Daniel Suarez, we're talking about an average finish and average running position just inside the top 25. So starting in 7th, there's a lot of room for error here at Daniel Suarez, and since he already has a win under his belt, he has some breathing room where maybe he won't be that aggressive and go for the win here to screw up this prop. Maybe he just kind of sits back, lays low, and if he does not finish inside the top 10, top 11, top 12 range, you should be fine, which I think the probability will be on your side, taking the under here. So just to recap the 3 plays we have here, we have the under on Chase Elliott fantasy points, the under on Kyle Larson fantasy points, and then the under on Daniel Suarez fantasy points. I know it's never fun taking a bunch of unders, but at this type of track, the nature of the beast, it's typically the right way to go for some drivers starting pretty close to the front. My personal recommendation would be doing a 3-man flex play here. It pays out 2.25x if you do get 2 out of 3 correct, which I know is not as nice as the 5x on the power play, but at a high variance track like this, I do think it's the smarter way to go, as it's a bit hard to project the entire race for a track like this. With that being said, I will get out of here. I wish you all the best of luck this weekend for the race at Atlanta. Make sure to leave a like down below if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't yet already. Hit the bell to get notified whenever we post new content over on the channel. And like we said earlier, if you haven't yet signed up for PrizePicks, use promo code AWESEMO to get that instant deposit match bonus up to $100. Wish you all the best of luck, and I'll see you all next week.